All right. So actually, this was related to one of Grid One's chats, and it's perhaps a bit of a segue from the bear thing here. Just going around the table, just so we get a good sense of this. Do you consider yourself a feminist? Starting with you. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh my God, yes.
Yes. No.
Yes.
She's gone.
Anti-feminist.
Anti-feminist.
I am also anti-feminist.
Anti-feminist. Andrew, what about you?
I'm a staunch patriarchist and against feminism in all of its forms.
All right. Okay. There you go. There you go. Okay. So, you know what? We'll come back to that conversation later. I do want to ask one or two dating related things here. So I'm going to get into my pre-show notes. So, sorry, remind me how do you pronounce your name? It's Yael.
Yael.
Yas Queen L.
Imagine like an apostrophe, like Y-A apostrophe.
L.
Yeah.
Okay. In your pre-show notes, you said that you're not into hookup culture.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever like had a experience with it where you're like, I think that's how a lot of people, they like get into a situationship or they encounter like a fuck boy. So they delved a little bit into the hookup culture, but they're like, this is fucked up, I don't like it. So was that your experience?
No, I've just never wanted to.
Yeah.
I feel like it doesn't seem to be beneficial.
And you said that participating in hookup culture is gross / embarrassing to me. To me, both for women and men.
Yeah.
Does anybody here disagree with that? Anybody here disagree with her saying that hookup culture, I don't think you're wrong, by the way, hookup culture is gross and embarrassing. Any takers on that? Any bites? Going once, going
agree.
twice, going 3 times. Okay. Killa of Cereal said, let me pull that back up. Pick one. So, okay, guy number 1, 6'1", 100, makes 180K a year, fit, 8-inch PP, has a negative world outlook and bad attitude in general. Or 5'2", 30K a year, chubby, 4-inch PP, but has a positive outlook and oozes confidence and swagger. And why? So guy number 1, guy number 2. Which do you pick? Starting with you.
Yikes, neither. That's
You gotta pick one. You gotta pick one.
That's horrendous.
Gotta pick one.
Damn.
Yep.
I feel like I couldn't. They're both terrible.
You gotta pick
Terrible
one.
options.
I know. You gotta
pick a
one.
woman.
You gotta pick one.
Give me a woman. I want that.
You'd go become a lesbian?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my answer.
But you gotta pick one though.
No, I'm kidding. One.
Okay, that's fine.
I want to ask the person that asked this question, are you the number 2 guy? Because it kind of sounds like
For sure.
you're trying to get in this whole argument of like personality and whatever versus looks.
Why would that entail that would describe him because he was curious about your outlook? That sounds like you're projecting.
You're right. Maybe I'm projecting.
Here, let's just answer the question if we can. Go ahead.
Like number 2, I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
Is this just like, are we like just picking them for like ever, like I'm marrying this person?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
This is like for life guy.
I'll go with 1.
Okay.
Sure.
I'd pick number 2.
All right. What about you?
I'd pick 1 and like check the fuck out of him.
All right.
So it was number 1 had a bigger PP, more money, and then number 2 had a nice personality. Is that what it is?
Essentially.
Number 1.
All right.
Whichever one would want to marry me.
Let's say both of them want to marry you.
Probably the first, so my children would be taller and we'd be more secure financially.
Okay. What about you?
Probably number 1. It's really hard for me to date people that are shorter than me.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Killa of Cereal. Oh, you know what we'll do here? We'll do a fun segment. Nick, we'll do the Bumble segment. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull up Bumble. You each get 20 swipes, okay? It's just a yes or no. We just show you the first picture. Did we do age ranges, Nick, or
Yeah, I have.
you pre-have them?
Yeah.
Why don't you read them out and I'll just...
The age ranges?
Yeah, so I can tell the...
19 is 21, but we had to do 23 for Bumble.
Okay, so this is her, Yael.
Mm-hmm.
Did I say right? Okay,
Yeah.
this is, she's, put it big, yeah. So just yes or no?
Sure. Oh, that was a. Wait.
We just pass on everybody. Just.
Oh, right.
But your answer is yeah.
Right.
Don't worry about that.
No. No. No, I don't know which one it is. No.
Really? Oh.
That's scary. That's scary. That scared me. No.
What is
no.
that?
Is that a fish?
It looked like.
No. 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 I like the dog, but no. 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 These are all terrible pictures. No.
A little closer to the mic if you can.
Sorry. No. 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 No.
That's funny.
All right, there you go.
Give her 5 more. Let's see. If we can.
No. 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 No.
Damn, you're picky.
No to all of them,
Wait,
though.
what about this guy?
No.
No?
No.
Is it the gun? Let's do it.
All of it.
Wait, actually, really quick. Hold on. Okay, so we'll do you next, but you're very picky. Would you date a guy with who legally owned a firearm?
Sure.
I don't like the idea of it, but like maybe.
Like, would it be a deal breaker?
It's not a deal breaker, no.
Okay, but you don't like.
I'm not
the
like a
idea.
fan, but
You don't like the idea of him owning one.
not really.
Okay. What about you?
I'm with that. I don't like the idea of it, but I don't like it depends on the situation, but most likely
You
not. I
let's say
feel like
you
it
just
would
meet the guy-
it
you
would
just
be more
meet
of
the
a
guy,
deal
you like
breaker.
him.
Deal breaker then. Kind of I'm like
Would
yeah,
be a
no.
deal breaker.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you?
Yeah, I'd rather not. Unless it had to do with their job, I'd rather not.
Okay.
I don't really care.
Don't care.
I would say he would have to have a firearm to date.
Okay.
So
I would date him.
You would date him. I'm just curious, really quick. Those of you who said no, really quick. Just why? Would you feel scared, or
I'm just
or do you? Are you
terrified.
also you're just against gun ownership in general? Did you say yes or no?
I said sure. Actually.
Sure. Okay.
I think it's more that, yeah. It's
That-
more against gun ownership.
Okay. What about you?
I'm just really scared of guns.
Scared of
so
guns?
I just don't like that.
I live in LA. I just don't think that there's I think maybe in a different place, a gun might make more sense, but
Isn't LA like super dangerous?
Yes. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be an ideal place to have own a gun?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Even if it was, would you object to, like, let's say someone lived in like a really bad part of town? I don't know. What's a bad part of town in LA? Give me a couple
Like
places.
South Central.
Okay. And what's the demographic there?
There's lots of different kinds of people.
There's some like Latinos and like
There's
it's
lots of different kinds of people.
black and okay. Would you object to, do you object to minority ownership of firearms?
No.
Because okay.
If we're talking about preference for dating.
Sure. Okay, I'm getting off track there. And you?
I said I didn't care.
Or wait, I was going around again on.
I don't think.
I think
any
I
of
was just
us
asking
Just who
why.
said no, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, why? Oh no, you said you didn't care. So question for you through just really quick, then we'll get to back to the Bumble thing. How do I frame this? Let's say you were dating a guy, had kids, married to a guy, home invasion. There's 3 men. They're breaking into the house. Would you prefer that your husband or you guys could collectively attempt to defend the home? In that scenario where there's 3 men trying to break into the house, it's just you, your husband, and your kids. Would you prefer that your husband attempt to dispatch the home intruders with his fists or with a firearm? Starting with you.
With a gun? That doesn't mean I want him to own one, though.
Okay, sure.
Well, since there would be probably no guns in the house, and I would have to be the fist. 'Cause
No, but assume like he could own a gun in that scenario. What would you prefer in that scenario if a gun was available to him?
Just don't. I'm really terrified of those. Like, that's just like me personally. Like,
Okay.
those terrify me. It's like it's pointing at me, someone I know holding it. Like, I lose it. I get really scared.
So you would rather be invaded and killed than have him use a gun?
Well, we're going to be invaded either way. So at this point.
So you'd rather he not protect himself and you because you don't like guns?
Sadly, that would have happened because I don't like guns. So in this scenario, that would unfortunately happen.
So you would rather die than him use a gun and kill than Schrader, is what you're saying?
Sure.
Can I ask why you don't like guns?
For the same reason that she would stay in the forest with a bear and hide from a guy who was out in the wilderness who could assist her with escaping from the bear, because she has what's called an irrational fear. Interestingly enough, do you mind if I ask you just a quick question? The Washington Examiner, I caught an article the other day. They were, of course, using Pew Research for this. One of the things they were talking about is why people are anti-immigrant, and they said one of the reasons that they are is because of ignorance. It's because of ignorance of other cultures and things like this, and the more that they're exposed to immigrants, the less they are adverse to immigrants because they're no longer ignorant of these immigrants. Do you think that the same thing could be happening here with you and firearms?
Maybe. I think personally, I never, like where I grew up, like this was never a topic, and like I think it became a topic recently nationally in my country, but growing up, like that was never a thing. Like I'm just not used to that being even into the conversation. Like I would never think that anybody I would meet would like own a gun, you know?
Okay.
Well, I mean, but do you believe that the reason that people are xenophobic is because they haven't been exposed to enough immigrants, and that if they were exposed to more immigrants, they would become less xenophobic, as this data would allude?
I don't know. I think that's honestly for me, that's like just a tough question. I don't know if it's exposure. I don't know if you necessarily, like, when you say exposure, do you mean like meeting people, or do you mean just like
meeting them, engaging with them, talking with them, working with them, things like that, right?
I think it's when you're like meeting a person you can see is just like another person, depending on, you know, like you're engaging with people from different cultural backgrounds and anything.
And how many guns have you held in your hand?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, none. Jesus, no.
None.
Yeah.
How many times have you been around guns?
It's been a few. I've met people that like parents have owned them, so like in the house it's been like, oh, like look, that's like my dad's, and I was like, ugh. Like it's just like fear, literally.
But if we
just
were to
fear
track
of
the
it.
reasoning then that there would be less xenophobia via exposure to more immigrants, then would not this also track that perhaps you would be less anti-gun with exposure to firearms?
I mean, maybe. I think like I could change that mindset. Like at the moment though, I am terrified. Like it could be the most irrational of my fears, but it's definitely like a fear, and I know like in the.
But you would never tolerate xenophobia as being a rational fear if you were to find out that there was data that says you would be less xenophobic if you expose yourself to more immigrants. Wouldn't your advice to those people to be to expose yourself to more immigrants so you were less xenophobic?
Not really. I think you can research more on cultures instead of just like being physically like exposed and like in a one-to-one face-to-face kind of scene. So like learning, researching, reading, anything.
So you
really.
would tell people to read books about immigrants?
I mean, not just about immigrants, but it's just people. Like people
right.
migrate,
I get
people
it,
move all over. That's how it happened.
What the data suggested was that the more people are exposed to immigrants, the less xenophobic they were. That's what the data said, at least in this particular, and that stands to reason from your worldview, right? That would be the case. So wouldn't you recommend that people expose themselves to other cultures to be less xenophobic? Wouldn't you recommend that they do so if they were xenophobes?
Yeah, if that helps them not be like that, I think that's a great solution.
Yeah, so then my recommendation to you is to expose yourself to more firearms so that you don't have this kind of irrational fear, right?
Maybe one day.
Your answer?
Okay.
I forgot the question.
I think it was, in the scenario where there's 3 home intruders, you got kids, husband, you're in the home, would you prefer that your husband try to dispatch the intruders just with the self-defense of it, I guess your hands, or a firearm in that situation?
I mean, in my situation, there wouldn't be a firearm in the house, so we would probably be hiding and running and praying.
Okay, let me reframe the question. Comparing a situation where you don't have a firearm versus you do have a firearm, which scenario would you be more likely and more able to defend
Survive?
yourself?
Oh yeah, a firearm would help
Okay.
you survive.
So you would you, if that's the case, would you then prefer to be in that scenario with a firearm, if a firearm was available?
I mean, I don't, not necessarily, to be honest.
Okay, so you.
Based on my worldview, not necessarily.
What's your worldview on this?
I mean, I believe in life after death, and I believe in, like, I don't think that.
Huh?
I mean, truly, like, I do. So.
But I mean, that's fine that you believe in life after death, but I assume you don't want to just expire today.
No, I don't. But I wouldn't like recommend my husband to go shooting down the intruder. I wouldn't. I would be hiding in the bathroom and praying with him and my kids.
Praying.
Yeah, I would.
Do you think? I mean, Andrew might be more apt to
That's my
address this than
worldview.
me.
That's my worldview.
But so you would rather pray than have a firearm to dispatch the home intruders?
Yeah.
So you guys wouldn't.
So I mean,
You guys wouldn't try any other way. Like even if like you knew we don't have a firearm, you would like you and your husband wouldn't go down there and try to fight them off like with knives or something.
I mean, it's a hypothetical situation, so it's hard to know, like with the adrenaline and the spur of the moment, what would happen. But that's what I would do. I would hide. Yeah, I would hide. And
Would
pray.
you? Let me ask you this: do you have a mom and a dad who are still together by chance?
No.
No. Okay. Do you have any relationship with your dad at all?
Yes.
Okay. When you were a little girl and he was around in your life, I don't know if he is or not. I didn't mean to frame it that way, but when you were a little girl, you're staying with your dad. If a home intruder broke in, would you have the expectation that he went and hid?
Would I have the expectation that what? I missed the last.
Yeah, that your father went and hid.
Mm-hmm. What?
Would you expect that your father would go and hide if somebody broke in where you were?
Or would you
Should he
expect
go
them
and
to
hide?
protect you?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I think my dad probably would have hid with us.
Yeah,
know?
do you think that that's good, that he would hide? Or do you think that it would be better if he faced off with the intruder who was breaking into your space?
I mean, I'm not here to speak for other people. That's just what.
Yeah, I know.
That's
That's
what
why
I
I'm not
would have
asking you
done.
to. I'm just
Can I
asking you to
ask
speak
something?
for you.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on.
I mean, are
Yeah,
you?
I'm just-
I don't like when my worldview. I don't think that preserving life at all stakes is always the best option.
Wait, so if given the option between your life or the home intruder's life, you would prefer the home intruders?
I'm not going to
Survive?
fight somebody. I'm not going to.
What about for your kids?
Yeah,
though?
you have children.
Yeah, well, I'll protect them and help them, and whether that's running away or doing whatever we can. But that's.
But you
all I'm
would you
gonna
not be
do.
willing to kill another individual if it means saving the life of your children?
I mean, if someone put a gun in my hand, sure, yeah, I would choose that. But I
Okay.
think that in this hypothetical situation, I don't have a gun. So
All right.
it doesn't seem to really match up.
Are you and your husband like afraid?
Yeah, but I
not
mean,
afraid
you could change
against
the hypothetical
self-defense?
situation
Like
by
if you
getting one,
even had a
right?
knife or.
No, and like, this is just the way that I feel. It's not standing for like.
All right.
Yeah, that's just the way that I feel.
Okay. All right. We will get back. Actually, before we do that, I have Killa of Cereal. Can I have you read this one?
Okay, to the ladies.
Wait, into the mic. Into the
Oh,
mic.
sorry. To the ladies who answered one, tall, big P, negative attitude, would you choose him if he had a carry license? What if the shorter, chubby guy was also afraid of guns? Would you feel safer with him?
Does this change your answers? Anybody?
Yeah, I'd probably go with the other one.
So you answered one, but you would switch to two
Yeah.
based on the gun ownership.
Yeah.
Anybody
me,
else?
Like me nowadays, I wouldn't feel comfortable with
Okay.
that. So
Did anybody else answer one? Does it change anything? Does it change your answer to the guy number two if he owns a firearm? I think that's a no. Okay. We'll get back to the Bumble thing. Nick, if you could pull that back up. And we have, did you change the age range?
Yeah.
Oh, hold on one
Ivan
sec.
Drago _ donated $200. I would rather have a gun to protect myself and my family. Not having a gun leaves you vulnerable to being deleted, plus there could be 8 guys you never know also too.
Rather have a gun. Yeah. Andrew, do you know the statistics on like home invasions per year?
I don't know the statistics on home invasions specifically every year off the top of my head. I can pull them up.
I think it's.
So I will say that they're not common. Usually, criminals will try to enter into your house when you're not there, but they do enter when you are there. And it does seem to me that having a firearm in a place where you're actually allowed to seems like a good idea from my perspective. But
okay,
there's nothing. It's very difficult to convince people who have zero firearm experience at all. Not to be terrified of guns. It's almost impossible from my experience.
All right. Thank you, Ivan Drago, for that.